Well, hello, fellow SharePoint travellers, for this next video. Since the last time you saw me, I have added a course documents library in exactly the same way as the other one, but it was boring to watch, so I did it without you watching. And I've also added a science task list, so I'm going to show you how you do that. When you add a task list, it basically means that we can keep track on who's got to do what. You know those sort of department meetings where someone has always forgotten to do something? Well, it's generally me that tends to forget to do those things. So this is a good thing for a head of science who's got me in their department to have. So I'll show you how you add a task list. So we'll go down here and view all site content. And we are creators. And it's a list. So if you filter by type, okay, we can come down to lists. And all I did was add science task lists, and this just says it's a place for team or personal tasks, and I just typed in here science task list and pressed create. Now clearly I'm not going to create a second one of the same type, but that's all you have to do, and when you do that it appears here in our table of contents, which, if you remember, I keep saying this, this is going to be the thing which will allow us to lead off into all of the other tools that SharePoint can offer us. Well, what are we going to do in this video? Well, if we go back over to our task management tool, which I've just shown you how to put in, we're going to have a look at an equipment inventory. Maybe not useful for every department, but departments with lots of equipment certainly is useful. So I'm going to go and do the same thing, and it's literally, you'll get bored of seeing this screen. Create. We have to find the assets. Now there's a couple of ways of doing this. Okay, you might think, oh, this asset library here, but that, if you read the small print, just says a place to share and browse and manage rich media assets like image, audio and video. So you want one of those if you want to put loads of videos up that you want to share with the kids. Okay, now we don't want one of those. Okay, what we actually want is it a page? It's not a page, it's a site, isn't it? Where are you? It's one of these, assets web database, and it says create an assets database to keep track of assets, including asset details and owners. Well, that sounds right up our street, and I'm sure our technician is going to enjoy keeping track of all of our assets on there. So without any further name, okay, let's call it science asset list. Okay, and we better give it a name. Okay, so it's saying here HTTPS VLE Selipark. That's the Selipark bit. Okay, and we've got to give it a URL. Universal resource location, or whatever it's called. What can we call that? Well, in our department, we just call that the big list. Okay, so what we'll call it is science asset list. There we go. Science asset list. Have I spelled it correctly? I hope so. And create. And there it goes, the beautiful spinning green disk of SharePoint thinkingness. And so that's going to be a site which is our first external site. So this is going to be a little web page which pops up when you click on the here it comes, preparing site, when you click on the actual science asset list. And this is one of the things we were talking about earlier on. It's actually a separate web page, because SharePoint can make loads and loads and loads of different web pages which seem to have nothing to do with the original science department site. But in fact, what does this say? Someone has recently made change to the site and the site has been updated. Oh well. Well, hopefully that will actually be made at some point. So let's go back to our original home site, and we'll open that in a separate tab. So there we go. Eventually when the server has decided that it has enough time to prepare this site. And it is quite a big job because it's actually making a website on the fly, as it were. So it's quite a big job to make this site, but it's going to appear down here eventually. Okay, and that will be our asset site. So let's look at what else we can do. We can also add a useful contacts list. So let's go and have a look and see whether we can find something akin to a contacts list. And once again, we're speeding through and we want something to do with contacts. And I can't remember where I saw it before. There it is, contacts. So this is a list of people your team works with, like customers and partners. Contacts lists can synchronize with Microsoft Outlook or other compatible programs. So science contact list. So all we did was we just went off to the same bit of the home science menu, and we're looking to create some content. We come to here, it's a list, it's a contact, and we're going to create that there like that. Now this is a lot faster to make. We haven't got any contacts yet, but we can add them. So we'll be adding things like all of the equipment suppliers, Scilab. We'll be adding lists of important people to contact, like the people at the University of Education, University of Birmingham Education Department, and also similar people in Warwick and other schools and other heads of science and people who do training work and CPD work within Birmingham and beyond. We'll have all of their contacts in here, and that will be available to everybody. So let's go back to science and see what the thing looks like. Ooh, science contacts and science task list. So you see these things have now appeared in our lists. And also up here we've got the science asset list, okay, and that's the website which we've just created. So it looks like that's just been created. Let's just see if that works. Oh no, we've still got that silly sign that says it's still preparing it. It takes a while, but it will happen. So there we go, we've got all of these things. Now if you're quite happy, I'm going to come back and see you a bit later with all of this full of interesting stuff. The stuff that I'm going to put in is all of these things down here: a calendar, news and announcements, surveys and polls, staff blog lists. So I'll see you for that in a later video.